Hey guys, we're looking at S&P 500 mini futures, and the chart is 2000 tick chart, and I have a 5-minute chart right next to me. So these are the two charts that I'm going to be using to place trades today. And the first thing I like to do before I start trading, I need to do my pre-market analysis, kind of get to feel what the market is doing. And the overnight session, hasn't been really too eventful. As you guys can see, there's really not that many bars, and it looks like a trading range. You guys can see I have this downtrend working lower, and you guys can see how price is fitting nicely inside of this channel. And there was a huge move above the EMA, which indicating strong bullish momentum, but price then consolidating and went into this congestion. Now we're only going to be looking for high probability setups, which would be a second entries, a two-legged pullbacks at the key entry points. Key entry point is a trend line, EMA, or support or resistance line. And as you guys can see, market has really slowed down and has been chopping in the middle of this structure, and this is what it's called a congestion. Okay, you guys can see a lot of stims, a lot of bars just going sideways. It is tempting to go both and long, and when you feel like that, you know that you should be sitting on your hands and not taking a trade. You guys can see that the EMA is completely flat, indicating this is a small little trading range. And the way you trade these trading ranges, these little congestions, you buy the low, you fade the breakouts. You don't even buy the lows or sell the highs, because this is a tight congestions. The only way you trade this is you fade the breakout. And right now you guys can see we broke to the downside and we have a big bullish bar. So if this bar closes really bullish, this could be a nice failed breakout to the downside and rejected by a big bullish bar. So I would be looking for reasons to buy the market and for market to potentially go up to here. Why? Because of this strong bullish move. The way we push such a strongly above the EMA, this is really indicating to me that, strong bullish momentum, and I would be expecting for price to continue working higher from this point. Alright guys, I'm resuming the video, as we may have a potential bar finishing right here. As you guys can see, we have this uptrend working higher, and you guys can see I drew this bigger uptrend, and we have a new high. We have a first entry long, second entry long, but price was below EMA, and when the price is below, hold on, I'm just going to quickly enter with the limit order. I'm going to move my stop loss 1 tick below the entire swing. I'm going to go for 6 ticks only, and I'm going to move my target profit right here, and you guys can see I'm scalping 4 contracts and leaving 1 for a runner. And why I like entering this trade is because you guys can see you have a first leg pullback, second leg, this is a two-legged pullback played out. This is a first entry long pullback, second entry long, but the second entry long triggered above this bar right here, but we closed below EMA. So I waited for a little bit of a correction. I didn't want it to go long yet. I didn't want to go short either, because overall bias is up, and when the trend is working higher, we want to go only long. And then this big bullish bar formed and we closed above the EMA, which is a good confirmation of a bullish momentum. So the downtrend played out with the break and a new extreme. Overall trend is up, and yeah, EMA is holding prices. So let's see how this trade will work out here. All right, let's see how it plays out here. We are pushing a little bit lower. We were getting very close to getting our target profit filled, and we're in the half. So I'm gonna pause. I don't want to make the video too long, but the uptrend is, we actually may have. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video not to make it too long, and I will resume it once we get some sort of movement. All right, price is getting very close to our target profit. Anyways, I'm going to mark the first trade right here, and let's see what we get here. This is a second entry long, but we didn't want to enter above this bar because we closed below EMA. Okay, so we waited for a little bit more of a confirmation. We still want to go short because overall trend is up. It looked like it's going to fail. This is a second entry long failure almost, but then there was a nice big bullish bar that closed above the EMA, confirming, and we are touching my limit order. Let's see if we can get a few more ticks filled. A lot of times you will have to go through the limit order. You cannot just touch it. This is one of those things when you're trading live, you have to tick through the limit order. Although I'm using automated strategy, which puts my target profit and sell stop early in the queue. So a lot of times you can get filled just by a touch, but most of the time you will need to tick through. Let's see. They're teasing us a little bit, but I'm going to pause it. Hold on. Oh, we had a little bit of a slippage here. You guys can see the closest right here, but the next bar registered open 1 tick higher. Come on, get us out of this trade. This is one of the worst feelings when you see price hitting your target profit and potentially reversing, but we just need 2 more ticks. Come on, 2 more ticks to make the money. Scalping 4, leaving 1 contract as a runner. You do this because you want to take the money the market makes available to you, because you want to reinforce that you're consistently profitable trader. And there we go. And you want to leave 1 contract as a runner because you don't want to leave money on the table. Okay, so in case we just keep moving higher, we can keep making all-time highs, new highs. I want to be part of this trend, this move. Okay, so this is why I'm holding 1 contract as a runner. So I'm going to pause it, let you guys see 2.5 points right now. I'll be definitely letting this run a little bit because market has been fairly bullish lately. So I'm going to see you guys. All right, traders, just a little update on the runner right now. We are touching the 7-point mark, and I'm still giving it a little bit more room because normally you guys saw me tighten it, the runner trailing the stop loss 1 tick below the new swing. But today looked very slow. In case we may not get a bunch of good setups. This is where I'm taking a chance here. I'm betting more on the runner. I want to milk it a little bit more, but I just want to quickly talk about this setup right here because this was a very tempting trade to take. As you guys can see, price looked very trading range like, and we actually broke below this congestion and traded higher. But when you're fading the breakout out of congestion, we have to understand that we want to fade the breakout that is really close to the congestion. You don't want to give it more room, because once you're starting getting further away, you're taking a big chance, because a congestion is a very shortened pattern in the market. You guys can see this is very short. It is not like a trading range when you can wait for price to get far away from EMA. The congestion is very shortened and very tiny pattern on the chart, and we want to wait for a quick breakout and a quick pullback. You don't want to wait for big breakout like this and then you're fading it. It takes, there's more risk doing it like this. But eventually market pushed higher, and there was a tempting trade to take this failed breakout, but I was respecting this uptrend because this is a bullish uptrend and we have a break, so you know what's going to happen, probably a new extreme. But the market looked rangy, so we definitely want to follow the rules, and we don't want to be buying the breakout, we want to be fading the breakout. So this was the failed breakout, it pulled back, and then you would be expecting for price to push all the way down to here if this is a legit trading range. But take a look how EMA is holding prices. This is a breakout pullback pattern. Support now is holding prices, EMA is holding price. You have a new high, you have a first entry long pullback, a second entry long that is not touching, even with the stim, the EMA. You're going long very high at the move. You're not touching with the body and even the support. And then there was a first entry long, second entry long failure. But the price overall is looking way too bullish now. You didn't push lower of this failed breakout, because a failed breakout is supposed to generate a lot of momentum to push market lower, and it didn't. Okay, it failed. It got easy, quick enough for a quick, easy scalp, but we continue working higher, and you guys can see EMA keeps holding prices, and there was this nice big bullish bar, which was extremely tempting. So I'm going to mark this trade. I didn't take this trade, but I'm just going to mark it because this is a great trade following the strategy, and we are at the 7 points right now. So I'm going to pause the video, and we are getting very close to this upper trend channel line, so we may pull back a bit. The bias is right now up. It's very bullish. We're not picking tops. We're sticking with the trend. Trend is your friend. And we're looking for price to form a second entry at the EMA, just like here, or the second entry at this potential trend line that has yet to be proved. All right, guys, I'm resuming a video. I've been holding this runner for multiple hours now, and now price finally made its way, consolidated slowly to a major key entry point. And I'm extremely tempted to take this long, but I have a rule that I just don't usually add on trades while I'm holding a runner. I just want to don't get too greedy and hold the runner. But we may have potentially a nice confirmation of the key entry points. You guys can see the key entry point could be found from these first 2 swings. An overall trend is very up. Plus, if I take a look at the 5-minute chart, we are above the EMA. So let's see if we get trigger high. So far, the entry hasn't even triggered yet, but it looks like the downtrend is starting to waver, it's starting to lose steam. The overall structure still looks very bearish, and this was a huge rejection from the bulls. So let's see if we can push higher. So this could be potential entry, but we haven't even triggered yet. All right, guys, I'm resuming the video, and here is the second entry long, because this is the new high, and you have a first entry long pullback, a second entry long, and this was a big rejection coming off this trend line, and this is just a higher low setup, second entry long right here. This is the bounce off key entry point, and this is the bounce. You're not quite yet touching the trend line here, so this is a little bit worrisome, but overall bias is still up, so this would be a great entry. Had I not been in the runner, I would be taking this entry right here, but I just have a rule that once I'm in a runner, I'm not going to add on to my set already, because you can get a little bit skewed view and you can get too subjective. So I just want to keep the one contract, and let's see how this trade does, because it should be a first entry long, second entry long. It doesn't matter you're below EMA in this case, because you're coming off the major key entry point, and that's what is most important here. This is where every smart trader is looking to go long here, and this was a big bullish rejection candle, and it looks like the downtrend played out. It's starting to lose steam, and on a 5-minute chart we are getting very high up above the EMA. We're actually closing very high up above the EMA. Let me show you guys how it looks like. This is what it looks like on a 5-minute chart. You guys can see we have a first entry long, a second entry long right here, trigger right here, created a higher low and an additional pullback, and now you have one more push higher above the EMA. EMA is holding prices, and there you go, the market is pushing higher. So this would be a great entry, but I'm not going to add on to my, let me just mark it, I'm not going to add on to my set when I'm holding a runner. The runner right now is $350, which is not much considering I was somewhere around $500 or $500, but I'm still going to let it run. Just a one trade today, just a one trade so far, because this was actually a good trade. Let me mark this trade. I forgot to talk about this, because as you guys can see, this is the new high, and you have a first entry long, second entry long, you also have a break in a new extreme, and you're at the EMA. If had I not been holding the runner, I would definitely take a chance here, and I would have gotten stopped out, because you're in an uptrend. This is the same thing right here. And it sometimes happens. It's a part of trading. Nothing in price action is 100%. So you just have to brush it off, and you have to re-enter right here, follow the rules, and you get a nice first entry long, second entry long at the key entry point. Wasn't quite ideal setup here, that we didn't really quite touch the EMA touch the trend line perfectly, but this is how price action works. These key entry points are important. That's where all the institutions are buying. And yeah, I'm still holding the runner. We're getting close to $400, so it could be, it could be pretty decent trade. Let's see. All right, guys, so I'm tightening finally the stop loss below this swing, because this bar didn't really finish well, and this would be first entry long, first entry short, second entry short failure. But you're not touching the EMA. The signal bar is not that bullish, and I just don't want to get too greedy. I try to hold the runner as long as I can, because because once the price was pushing high right here, I was expecting for us to reach all-time highs, but price just corrected, and it was really slow. This took really a lot of time, and there was only a good entry right here. We didn't really trigger about this bar, and right now we may once again correct a little bit to this trend line, and overall it's starting to look fairly slow. So I decided to take the runner, and it's not bad. It's you know, four contracts, 8 points right here, so it's a $400 right here, and this was around $350, so let's say $700 per day on just one single trade. I mean, if you ask me, that's pretty decent if you just, you know, wait for the proper setup. So you guys can see this was a little bit tricky setup, so you get trapped here. No really big deal, because I would have taken this, and then you have to follow the rules, and you have to re-enter right here, because this is overall uptrend is still up, overall trend is still up. And you guys can see that the bullish trend line is holding prices nicely. You can find it very early. We found it earlier right here, and it came into play nicely. So there is no nothing too complicated. It's fairly simple. Here's the trade. One target profit filled here, and the second was filled right here. You know, it took only one trade, but you know, with the runner, it actually makes up for almost 2 trades. So not that bad, and it's part of trading as well. A lot of times you will just get your one trade and hold the runner the entire day. That's part of trading sometimes, and you just have to be comfortable with it, sitting here and holding just one single trade, and that's the better part of trading. So take care about it.